Hey y'all, welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is just a story time. I want to do a follow-up on my letter that I wrote to my mother. I just spilled my nail polish remover, which is 100% acetone. And look at this. It fucking like melted the plastic and the fucking remote. I can't get this shit off. It was like not even for 30 seconds. It was crazy. Anyway, lesson learned. And like the table's all white where it fell. Anyway, if you haven't watched, I'm gonna paint my nails while I talk. If you haven't watched the story time where I read the letter to my mother, this probably won't make sense. Okay. So she responded later that day and said, I received the email. Thank you for your honesty. I would like to take a few days to process this. Or a few days sometime. I don't know. I deleted everything. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know. So I waited a few days. And after 4 days, she texted me. And I don't know what I was expecting. I thought maybe there could be a little bit more. I've never really spoken my truth like this. But there's a reason I haven't done that. And she responded via text and just said, not verbatim, because again, I deleted everything already. My hands are so dry, don't judge them. Something about, she basically just moved around words that I wrote, except like did not address anything. So she said something like, yeah, I've taken some time to reflect on this, and I know my voice is changing to a little bit of a mockery. Anyway. And then she said, yes, we are two different people. I'm continuing to learn and grow. So I can be the best person I can be. And then, like, I love you. That was it. So I blocked her. And that's the way it's going to stay. And I'm going to make sure I save enough money in my savings account to not ever have to fucking rely on anyone in my family ever the fuck again. Which I was really trying to do last year, but, I didn't, obviously. So, yeah, it's disappointing. Not surprising, but disappointing. There's no apology, no acknowledgement of, my mothering, which has been a consistent pattern for the past few years. My family, I think they're ashamed that I'm a single mom. I don't know. I don't know why a widow or like a widow would be ashamed of a single mom, because it's like a similar path. It's only one parent. So, yeah, fuck that. I think the reason I wanted to get on here and just talk about it is because I think in these times especially we're being forced to walk away from things that no longer serve us. I'm watching Stranger Things season 3. Anyway, and I think there's huge lines of division being drawn right now, and it's not safe. I mean, every person's situation is different, but for me, I don't feel safe. And I said that in the, I don't think I can ever trust you. Her and my sister have relentlessly, like, when my mom went to my sister's house for Mother's Day, and my sister's been a stepmom since her 20s. She's in her 40s now, and she has 2 of her own children as well. And it's not, it has nothing to do with me. It's everything to do about them and the way that they choose to behave. Um the projections that they place on me. But they were together for Mother's Day the year before we stopped talking, so 2023. And I was pretty hurt. And or maybe it was the year before that. No, I think it was 2033. And my mom said, "You're not my mother." So, as the cycle breaker in my family, the lines of division, I have been out doing things very differently for a very long time, which is why I've had such harsh repercussions from my family. They don't want shit to change because if they did, they would have done it, right? And I think a lot of people are, there's huge shifts in human consciousness right now, where people are paying attention to the news. It's very obvious that there's bad things happening, and people who decide to, be apathetic or ignorant or, blatantly participate in that shit versus those of us who are like, fuck no, right? So I have tried for a very, very long time to get my mother to wake up um about, larger issues and also me. Right? And this was my last. Hi, Lucy. I'm in a space right now for the next couple weeks because I'm going to be 39. It's my last year of my 30s. And my 40s are going to be absolutely fantastic and feral, okay? I promise. So this is the last year. I feel like I'm really just continuing to set the stage and foundation for me and Niall. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm, the girl that left marriage. I mean, when Niall, in 2020 when I left my marriage, I have achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I had huge lists of work that I wanted to do and then some. And I feel a lot of the time in this town, I feel like I'm not moving, but this town has given me more opportunities than any place ever anywhere else, okay? I didn't have to like apply for the college stuff. I've never had to share a resume at the college. So I'm just like, I don't even think they know that I have a graduate degree at the college. So it's just, getting the ambulance, now doing this stuff with the middle school and the high school kids. And, I know that my role is I've always wanted to help people. And my family's very selfish people. And there's a reason, like, we don't get along. So I'm just telling you, where you're at right now is a moment and a space that has potential to be change, like world changing, right? Like if you're someone who is choosing to close out cycles, to leave relationships, what I was saying was the next couple weeks I'm just in this space before my birthday. My birthday's on the 21st, but before the spring equinox, which is what, like March 20th, I have a tendency to actually go more by like tax money. But anyway, this time right now, I'm allowing what's no longer ready, like no longer serving me to be removed. I'm allowing and trusting people's intentions and the way that they're showing up, or lack thereof. I'm going through a final, like there's everything. I'm not taking anything with me except what I want to build for myself. I've always been someone who has put everyone before me, and I'm shifting out of that in this moment. I'm allowing old friends, old family, old beliefs, old habits, behaviors, thinking patterns, limitations, or limiting beliefs. I'm allowing all of that to go, right? I'm in the very conscious process. I'm resting a lot. I'm kind of disassociating, but not really. I'm just chilling, right? But I know that I'm not taking a lot of shit with me. Oh, it's Bob Marley's birthday. Happy birthday, Bob. And so if you're in this process, or if you have been thinking like, oh, this person doesn't feel right for me, regardless of what that relationship is, it doesn't need to be a like lover. It can just be, your mom, your siblings, your friends. One question that I've asked myself relentlessly is, if I, about different kinds of relationships, whatever the obligation or reason you know each other is, like, if I didn't have to work with this person, would we be friends? If I wasn't related to this person, would we be friends? Um, you know, I've known this person forever, but are we really still aligned, right? Are they goal driven? Are they looking out for themselves? What are they doing, right? And separate yourself from whatever that is, right? Whatever you have to do. But that has helped me a lot. So I just wanted to get on here. I'm disappointed, but I needed it. I needed to know, I'm kind of glad. I told my other mommy friend, she's been my mommy friend since Niall was about 1. And I said, so she's known. I let my mother back into my life. Like, I was no contact with her after pregnancy, or no, for, I don't know, a few months after she came to visit. I was like, I need space. And that was when Niall was 1 month. So when we moved to Arizona in 2020, it was March of 2020. Niall was born in August of 2019. So from about September to March, or fall of 2020 or 2019, to I called my mom like when Niall and I were like literally moving. But then I was pretty much no contact. We were in very limited contact. But so we've had this rocky thing, but she refuses to change. I change every fucking day, multiple times a day. I'm constantly growing and evolving, and I thought, maybe things are different now that you've had your divorce, but no, she's, you know, I say this about baby daddy too, is like, these folks are exactly where I left them, and I left fucking 6 years ago. I am not who I was, And this mommy friend said, she's like, yeah, I figured it would be something like that, like my mom's response. And then she also said, she's like, you are so strong. You're so much stronger than you were when I first met you. And like, we met at the RV park. She's the person I bought the second RV from. And no, she's not mad that it got stolen. But she said that you're so much stronger, and I'm like, I have to be. I have no choice but to be strong, right? Like, thank you, and also acknowledging that for myself. So I think the thing that I want to get on and say, and this is going to take forever because I'm using my phone, is just that don't allow anyone to hold you back. A, B, assess where you're going. uh Assess if the people around you have similar morality or ethics or beliefs, or if people are rejoicing in these evil acts, regardless of which issues you know think about, which issues you want to talk about. Oh, that smells good. um but don't be afraid to let people go. Don't be afraid to move. If I never would have left for college in 2014, I would never be the woman I am today. So, trust where you're being guided, trust where you're feeling too much energy. A good way to talk, or like a good thing to like pay attention to, is if you feel drained after you talk to someone, or if if someone's really not supposed to be in your life. I have a really good example. This last summer, when I first got the ambulance, I was talking to this person from my past, and we weren't even that close initially, but it was just nice to chat. And so I thought, but my guides were like, no, 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 no. That was right when I hurt my wrist. I had an eye infection. I was waking up every morning to either a dead kitten or a dead mouse. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not normal. And it was, this person. Then the internet went down. Like, it was like a lot of little things. So when I was just talking to my mom, I fell out of the ambulance. My aerial swing broke. I blame that on baby daddy. But regardless, like, bad things happening. I am not someone who attracts bad things. So if bad things start happening to me, I know it's because like my guides are trying to get my attention to like give energy, like keep my energy away from something. So pay attention to that stuff, right? There's a reason those things are happening. Maybe you have bad karma. Maybe you have, I don't, I mean, you can only have so much bad karma until you're like, what the fuck is going on, right? Unless you're just like one of those people who's absolutely miserable constantly, which is my mother. But she has money, so she doesn't really have, even if there are inconveniences, she's able to take care of them easily, right? So, for us poor folks, when that shit hit, batteries die, need a new tire, that stuff too, right? Getting in accidents or even just almost accidents. I don't know. I'm not trying to put that into the universe. I'm just using those as examples. I was just thinking today, the year of 2020, right when I let her back in, I have two. So I was like, when can I like redo my car insurance? It's very expensive, which it's not bad compared to like everything right now. But I backed into two cars when I let her back in my life in 2020 because I was in the midst of like having to move so much. Like we had so many, and I didn't even really realize that was like communication from the universe until now. But yeah, so shit like that is really expensive. Now I'm like, don't go anywhere. I hate backing up. Like, anyway, thanks for listening. That's that. Oh man, 18 minutes. This is gonna take a really long time. Alright, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for listening. It's hard, but not really. Like, I'm fine. I think often when also my mother and I have a lot of like similarities physically, and when she's in my energy, I feel like I look like her. And today I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, I'm back. Like I look like myself again. So, I think my mother has entities, but I think that the spiritual aspect isn't really something we need to talk about. But I do believe she has entities because of some of the quiet parts she said out loud sometimes. Like, it sounded very entity-ish. Like one time she was like, well, that's a mental illness, isn't it? Like she was trying to convince herself that I like had a mental illness. And I'm like, no. It was when I was like leaving my water bottles on my nightstand. And she was like, that's a mental illness, right? But the way she said it was like an entity was saying that. It was weird. I think that was the very last time I saw her. I was like, I'm good on this. She said a few things that were like very weird. So anyway, don't let people. This is crazy. Look at what this acetone did. That's insane. Literally not even for fucking 30 seconds. Completely melted plastic. It's the only thing that like takes off acrylic nails too. You see that right there? This was sitting on the table. Fucked up my table. Jeez. Alright. Thanks for listening. It doesn't hurt. I feel relief. And that's what I told my mommy friend. I'm really glad. Like, what would I have done if she would have like responded the way I wanted? we would have continued to have a relationship, but this was like, no, it's time to be done with this. And actually, that day that I blocked her, I got 1,000 views on one of my videos, which it's been a month since I've gotten that many views. And so, my guides communicate with views because that's what I'm excited about right now. In collecting, I have goals. And so I was like, oh, okay, I made the right move. Bye. Again, try and save your money if you are like financially reliant on people that you fucking hate. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. All right, I'm gonna take a shower. Have a good night. Bye.